If I could go back and talk to myself before I rented my first camper, here are the 5 things that I wish I had known up front. It would have saved me so much time and hassle and stress of not knowing. And honestly, making these kinds of mistakes can cost thousands of dollars. And so I'm so glad I know them now. This is what I wish I would have known before I started. Okay, number 1, you've got to get the right insurance. Not every rental policy, not every camper policy is created equal. A lot of policies actually write out in their contract that they do not cover rentals. It's because there's a lot of back and forth, and it's got to be really specific about who's being held liable. And so you've got to make sure you've got a policy that does allow you, does extend its coverage to the renter and the renter period. Insurance can get confusing really fast, so I'm not going to go into it really in depth in this video, but it is something that we dive into in my community. Okay, number 2, you have to have a strong rental agreement. A rental agreement is a contract between you and your guest that basically outlines all the rules and expectations for the rental period. And so you want to make sure that each other knows who's responsible for damages, how insurance is going to be applied if there's a claim. You need to know what the rules are and what your expectations are in regard to use of the camper and where it's allowed to be used and who's allowed to move it or if anybody's allowed to move it and that sort of thing. And so I'm not going to go into really heavy detail, but my contract is basically a living contract and it's changing all the time because I keep finding things that I want to update on the contract or that I want to tweak a little bit. Whether I'm making it easier to read between me and my guest or something that covers me a little bit better or, maybe something that the guest has requested in the past. And so it's important to keep updating them. If you're interested in mine, it is available for download in my community if you'd like to snag it. Okay, the next thing that I wish I knew is don't be afraid to hold a security deposit. Don't be afraid to hold a security deposit. Security deposits are really important to protect you from damage done to your camper. And I know you're going to be really tempted to say, I don't want to hold a security deposit because I want my rental to be affordable to more people because that'll open me to a larger market. The problem is if a person can't afford to pay your security deposit, they probably can't afford to pay for any damages that they do cause during the rental. And so it's a little bit of a fine line there. I think it is important in the end to charge the security deposit. You want good renters. I mean, bottom line, you want your camper to be taken care of and you want to have good renters. So charge the deposit to make sure you're getting good renters and also charge the deposit to make sure that if they do cause damage, you're covered. I think that's fair. Okay, the next thing I wish I knew is I wish I had known not to undervalue my camper. Okay, sometimes it's really tempting, like I'm going to throw up a number that, I'm going to list my camper and I'm going to throw it out there for a number that is really low and affordable to a lot of people. And while that's great, it's probably going to keep you really, really booked. You still need to be covering your expenses and you still want to maximize your time. I mean, you don't want to be well below market value, right? We want to be kind of like on the cusp of being competitive, right? Like when you're first getting started, you probably do want to be a little bit low in your price, but you don't want to be so low that you're leaving money on the table. Does that make sense? I did this my very first year. I had an older camper. I didn't really know what to price it for, and I thought, wow, this camper doesn't compare to other campers. I should just price it lower. And I priced it for $80 a night the very first year. Actually, I think I did it for 2 years in a row. And one year I just thought, I'm getting kind of good at this and I think people would pay more money. And so I actually I increased my price to $95 a night. That's a $15 increase per night. And people still booked it like crazy. I was leaving money on the table for years. And if I had known that, looking back, I mean, I would have done that differently for sure. Your price should reflect the cost to you, the value of your camper, and the demand of the market in your area. especially during different times of the year. I know that there are sways in the pricing for the different times of the year. An off-season price is going to look different than a high-season price, but that's something that you have to constantly be keeping track of and taking into account when you charge your pricing. And the last thing that I wish I would have known is that pictures matter almost as much as like the insurance and the rental contract. Pictures are so important. People ruin their listings all the time, and my very first listing stunk because I did not have good pictures. Staging is important. Stage your camper, take your pictures. I wish I would have known to take pictures during the day because the lighting is so much better, and I wish I would have thought to open all the windows and have all the lights on and have really good lighting and all my dishes set out. Like, hi, buddy.
Mommy?
Yeah. Another thing that I wish I would have known in regard to photos is I wish I would have been better about taking before and after pictures surrounding rentals. When I first started renting, I thought it was as simple as listing my camper and just letting things roll, but I have since learned that there are so many little systems that you can put in place that actually protect your time and your investment as well as the renter's time, ensuring that we both have a positive experience. If you're serious about turning your camper into a profitable rental, my private Facebook community is where we go much deeper into things like insurance, rental contracts, listing, pricing, and I answer members' questions directly all the time. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications for my next video. We're going to talk about this a lot.